The red sun of Vera Prime hung low in the sky, casting long, jagged shadows over the rugged cliffs of the frontier planet. Its surface was harsh, unforgiving, and yet strangely beautiful. Ethan Rourke adjusted his helmet as he stepped carefully over the glowing blue flora that pulsed faintly beneath his boots. Humanity's outpost was only a few kilometers away, but he had volunteered to meet the Kaleri alone. The Kaleri were known across the galaxy as fearsome warriors. Towering over most humans, their bodies were covered in thick, dark armor, and their eyes glimmered with intelligence and suspicion. They respected strength and courage, but they despised weakness. Every skirmish with them left a trail of shattered ships and shattered lives. Ethan knew that today, one wrong move could end him. As he walked toward the Kaleri training grounds, he reviewed what he knew. The Kaleri women were elite warriors, the protectors of their clans, feared and respected. They followed strict honor codes, and outsiders rarely survived an encounter with them unscathed. His mission was simple: negotiate a truce and show that humans could be trusted. Yet, in a place where trust was earned only through courage and action, words alone could mean nothing. The wind howled through the canyon as Ethan approached a plateau. There, moving with precise, fluid motion, were the Kaleri warrior women. They trained in silence, their blades slicing through the air with deadly grace. Their leader, taller and more imposing than the others, paused mid-strike and fixed her piercing gaze on Ethan. The air seemed to thicken. Every instinct in his body screamed danger. One of the warriors stepped forward, her massive blade gleaming under the red sunlight. "Who are you?" she demanded, her voice deep and commanding, yet calm. Ethan swallowed hard. "I am Lieutenant Ethan Rourke, of the United Earth Expedition," he said, keeping his tone steady. "I come in peace. I want to talk." The warrior's eyes narrowed. She raised her weapon slightly, signaling the others to prepare. He took a slow breath, remembering what he had read about Kaleri culture. They valued honesty, courage, and respect. He decided to try something no human had ever done before. Stepping slightly forward, making sure not to seem aggressive, he looked directly at the Kaleri leader and said, "You're beautiful." The words hung in the air. Time seemed to slow. The Kaleri women froze mid-motion. Their leader's eyes widened in shock, and her hand twitched above her weapon. In all their history, no outsider had ever spoken such words to them. The notion of beauty, recognized and spoken aloud, was foreign. It was not just admiration, it was acknowledgement. Ethan held her gaze calmly. "I do not mean to insult," he added quickly. "I mean respect. You are strong, disciplined, and remarkable. I hope we can talk instead of fight." The silence stretched for a long moment. Then the leader slowly lowered her weapon, though her eyes never left his. The other warriors relaxed slightly, still alert, but clearly taken aback. Shock had replaced aggression. "You speak boldly, human," the leader said finally. Her voice carried authority, curiosity, and a hint of amusement. "Few dare address us in such a manner." Ethan nodded. "I do not wish to provoke. I only wish to show that humans can respect strength, even if it is different from our own." The Kaleri leader studied him, her expression unreadable. Ethan realized this was the first test, not of combat, but of courage and understanding. The Kaleri were evaluating him, trying to see if he had the mind and heart worthy of their attention. Finally, she spoke. "Follow me. You will speak with the council. But do not think your words alone will protect you. You must earn our trust." Ethan followed, careful to match their pace without appearing weak or intimidated. The terrain grew steeper as they climbed, jagged rocks cutting into his boots. Still, he kept his focus, aware of the eyes watching him from all angles. The Kaleri citadel loomed in the distance, carved from the red cliffs themselves. Its towers glimmered faintly in the dying light, a testament to their advanced technology and their dedication to perfection. As they approached, Ethan could feel the weight of history in the stones. This was not just a fortress. It was a sanctuary, a place where warriors had trained and fought for centuries. Inside, the atmosphere was cooler, almost eerily calm. The council waited. 5 Kaelari women, each a leader in her own right, their armor polished to a mirror finish. They regarded Ethan silently as he entered, their eyes sharp and calculating. The leader, who had guided him here, stepped forward. "State your purpose." "Human," she commanded. Ethan straightened. "I am here to negotiate peace. Humanity seeks to coexist with the Kaelari. We have resources, knowledge, and skills that can benefit both our peoples. We do not wish to fight, and we hope to build trust." One of the council members tilted her head, clearly skeptical. "Words are wind," she said. "Prove to us that your people are more than words. Show us your courage, your intelligence, your honor." Ethan felt the weight of their judgment. He had expected tests of combat, but he realized they would measure more than strength, they would measure character. And character was something humans often underestimated in themselves. The council's leader spoke again. "You will remain under observation. You will see our ways. You will learn our customs. And you will prove that humans are worthy of our respect." Ethan nodded. "I understand." The next hours were grueling. He followed the warrior women through the citadel, witnessing their training, their rituals, their devotion. They moved with precision, yet there was artistry in every motion. They fought not just for survival but for honor, for legacy, for something greater than themselves. At one point, a Kalari warrior challenged him to a simple test of balance and reflex. Using their training devices, they created a simulated combat scenario. Ethan's body ached, but he met the challenge with calm focus, adapting to their style, learning their movements. Though he was slower and less graceful, his quick thinking allowed him to succeed. The Kaelari women watched, impressed not just by his endurance, but by his willingness to learn. He was not claiming to be one of them. He was proving he could understand and respect their ways. Later, as he rested, the Kaelari leader approached. "You are unlike any human we have met," she said softly, her tone almost personal. "You speak with courage, yet you do not threaten. You act with respect, yet you are not weak. Why?" Ethan thought for a moment. "Because we have to be more than just strong. On our world, survival is not enough. We learn. We adapt. We protect. We find ways to face the impossible, and sometimes, we see beauty in what others fear or ignore." The Kaelari leader studied him for a long moment, then inclined her head slightly. It was a gesture of acknowledgement, a sign that he had taken the first step toward earning their trust. Outside, the red sun had dipped below the horizon, leaving only the glowing blue flora to light the citadel. Ethan looked up at the sky, knowing this was just the beginning. Humanity had made contact with one of the galaxy's most feared warrior races. Not through weapons or force, but through respect, courage, and a simple truth. Sometimes, acknowledging beauty can open doors that no sword ever could. And in that moment, the Kaelari women warriors who had never paused for anyone stood still, shocked, thinking about the human who had dared to speak words they had never heard before. Ethan knew that tomorrow, the real test would begin. But tonight, he had survived the first trial. Not by fighting, but by being human. And in the heart of a world that valued strength above all, that was the greatest power of all. The next morning, the sun rose over Vera Prime, painting the jagged cliffs in gold and crimson. Ethan Rourke felt the weight of the previous day's events pressing on him, but he also carried a spark of hope. He had survived the first encounter with the Kaelari warrior women, not through strength alone, but by showing respect and courage. Today, he would need more than courage. He would need intelligence, patience, and resourcefulness. The Kalari leader met him outside the citadel. Her presence was commanding, yet there was a subtle shift in her gaze, curiosity, perhaps even a hint of approval. She gestured for him to follow. "You will join us for the daily patrol," she said. "But be warned. Human. This is not a stroll. You will face danger, and must prove your mind, as well as your heart." Ethan nodded, adjusting his pack and equipment. The patrol took them across the red cliffs, where narrow pathways and sheer drops tested his balance and nerve. The Kalari women moved with effortless precision, their eyes scanning the horizon, their senses alert to every sound. Ethan had to push himself to keep up, learning to anticipate their movements, to observe, to react. As they descended into a deep canyon, the patrol paused. The wind shifted, carrying the faint scent of something alien and dangerous. "A rival faction of Kalari is near," the leader whispered. "They do not know we are here. They assume you are a spy. Stay close and stay silent." Ethan's heart raced. A confrontation with the rival faction could erupt into violence at any moment. But he remembered the lesson from yesterday. Force alone was not the answer. Intelligence and courage could be stronger weapons. The rival faction emerged from the shadows. 5 Kalari warriors, aggressive and ready to attack. Their eyes locked on Ethan, calculating, suspicious. One raised her weapon, signaling an imminent strike. The leader of Ethan's group moved to block, and a swift, silent clash erupted. Ethan stayed back at first, observing. The Kalari women fought with speed and precision beyond anything he had seen. But then, when a warrior was knocked off balance near a cliff's edge, Ethan acted. Using a small grappling tool from his pack, he secured a rope and helped the Kalari regain footing. It was a small action, but it did not go unnoticed. The rival faction retreated, muttering words of frustration in their guttural language. Ethan's group stood victorious, though not through combat alone. The Kalari leader turned to him, her expression unreadable. "You act with cleverness, human," she said. "Few of our kind would consider saving a warrior instead of striking immediately. You think differently." Ethan swallowed, trying to steady his voice. "I believe survival is more than killing. It's understanding, protecting, learning. Ona. With the Von Danes are weak, with Relisa. Creasing R." The leader's eyes softened slightly. She began to speak of Kalari customs of honor, loyalty, and the sacrifices each warrior made for their people. Ethan listened carefully, absorbing the nuances of a culture so different from his own, yet strangely familiar in its dedication to principles greater than the self. As they continued their journey back to the citadel, Ethan learned more about the personal stories of the Kalari warrior women. One, named Shira, had trained since she was a child, mastering weapons and strategy to honor her clan. Another, Talira, had been a scout, risking her life in unknown terrains for the safety of her people. Their tales were filled with discipline, courage, and loss. Ethan realized that respect alone would not earn trust. Understanding their struggles and showing solidarity would. And so, when they encountered a natural hazard, a collapsing cliffside path, Ethan acted again. Using a combination of human engineering and quick thinking, he devised a makeshift bridge with ropes and metal supports, allowing the Kalari women to cross safely. The Kalari were silent as they traversed the path. For Ethan, the tension was unbearable. But when the last warrior stepped onto solid ground, the leader nodded approvingly. "You are learning, human. Not quickly enough to become one of us, perhaps, but enough to be acknowledged." The following days were a test of endurance, intellect, and emotional strength. Ethan participated in training drills, observed ritual combat, and adapted to Kalari methods of communication. He struggled, stumbled, and even failed at times, yet he persisted. Every mistake was a lesson. Every success, a step toward trust. One evening, as the twin moons rose over the cliffs, the Kalari leader approached him. "Tomorrow, you will face your final trial," she said. "It is not meant to kill you, human. It is meant to reveal your true nature. Will you honor our ways under pressure? Will you think and act with courage when the outcome is uncertain?" Ethan felt a mix of fear and anticipation. "I will do my best," he said firmly. "I will do my best. Offermer Roan, and in Texas into jest." The next day, the trial began. The Kalari had constructed a combat course, filled with simulated dangers, shifting platforms, holographic enemies, and complex obstacles. It was a test of strategy, reflex, and judgment. Ethan's goal was not to dominate, but to navigate the challenges while upholding the values he had learned. The first obstacle was a narrow bridge over a simulated lava flow. The platform swayed dangerously, threatening to tip at any moment. Ethan took a deep breath, recalling the Kalari lessons on balance and focus. He moved carefully, adjusting his weight, using his grappling tools, and maintaining his composure. Next, he faced holographic warriors, programmed to attack relentlessly. Ethan did not strike blindly. He observed patterns, predicted movements, and used clever maneuvers to evade and outsmart them. Occasionally, he assisted a Kalari hologram teammate when it struggled, demonstrating not only skill, but empathy and teamwork. The final obstacle was the most daunting. A Kalari warrior, the fastest and strongest of all, challenged him to a duel. Ethan's heart pounded. He could not match her strength. But he remembered the lessons of patience, observation, and ingenuity. He dodged, redirected, and leveraged the environment, using his mind as a weapon. When the warrior lunged, Ethan anticipated the movement, and instead of striking to harm, he created a small trap that caused her to stumble. Proving his ability to outthink, not overpower, a superior fighter, the Kalari leader observed silently, her eyes unreadable. When the trial ended, Ethan was exhausted, sweat dripping from his brow, muscles aching from constant movement. He had survived, not by brute force, but by applying human ingenuity, courage, and empathy. For a long moment, there was silence. Then, the leader stepped forward. "You have endured what few outsiders could," she said. "You have demonstrated intelligence, adaptability, and courage. You have acted with respect, and you have protected those weaker than yourself. You honor the Kalari in a way that words cannot express." Ethan felt a rush of relief and pride. "Thank you," he said quietly, bowing his head. The leader's expression softened further, a rare sight among the warrior women. "You are not one of us, human," she said, "but you have shown that humanity has qualities worth respecting. You see beauty in strength, courage in action, and honor in thought. That is more than many beings in the galaxy possess." The other Kalari warriors nodded in agreement. Their eyes, once suspicious and cold, now held warmth and acknowledgement. Ethan realized that he had not only survived, but earned their trust in a meaningful way. That night, as he rested in a simple chamber within the citadel, Ethan reflected on the journey. He had entered a world where humans were outsiders, where survival was not guaranteed, and where the Kalari viewed strength as the ultimate currency. Yet, through courage, intelligence, and empathy, he had proven that humanity had something more, a unique spirit that could thrive even in the face of fearsome adversaries. The Kalari leader visited him one last time before he retired for the night. She handed him a small pendant, shaped like a Kalari sigil. "A token," she said. It is rare for us to give these to outsiders. Keep it as a symbol of what you have achieved. Tomorrow, you will return to your people. But remember this: humanity has the power to inspire, to endure, and to honor, even in worlds that seem impossible. Ethan accepted the gift with gratitude. "I will," he promised. As he lay down, gazing at the twin moons shining through the citadel window, he knew that this was only the beginning. Humanity had earned a foothold in the galaxy, not through weapons or domination, but through the qualities that defined them: ingenuity, courage, empathy, and respect. And somewhere among the Kailari warrior women, his actions had sown a seed of admiration, a recognition that humans could rise to challenges that no one expected them to meet. Tomorrow would bring new missions, new trials, and new opportunities to prove himself and humanity. But for tonight, Ethan allowed himself a moment of pride and calm. He had survived the trial, learned the ways of the Kailari, and shown that humans were more than fragile beings. They were adaptable, resourceful, and capable of greatness. And in the heart of a planet ruled by warriors, he had done something no human had ever done before. He had earned respect, admiration, and perhaps the beginning of a lasting alliance. The sun rose slowly over Vera Prime, painting the red cliffs with gold and orange hues. Ethan Rourke felt both excitement and tension. Today was the day of the final trial, the moment that would determine whether humanity could earn lasting trust and respect from the Kailari warrior women. He had survived the first encounter through courage, intelligence, and respect. He had proven himself during the patrols, saving Kailari comrades and showing ingenuity under pressure. Yet this trial would be the ultimate test, a combination of physical, mental, and moral challenges designed to reveal his true character. The Kailari leader met him outside the citadel. Her armor glinted in the morning sun, and her eyes carried a weight of expectation. "This trial is not meant to humiliate or harm you, human," she said. "It is meant to reveal whether you truly embody the qualities we value: courage, honor, and wisdom. Fail, and you leave with only a lesson. Succeed, and you earn a place in our respect and a chance to build an alliance." Ethan nodded, steadying himself. "I understand. I am ready." They led him to the trial arena, a massive structure built into the cliffs, filled with obstacles, holographic enemies, and shifting terrain. It was a test of adaptability, endurance, and decision-making under pressure. But most of all, it was a test of human spirit. The first challenge was a series of unstable platforms suspended above a deep chasm. The wind howled, threatening to unbalance him at every step. Ethan focused, recalling the lessons from the Kailari patrols. He adjusted his footing carefully, using momentum and timing rather than rushing. One misstep could send him plummeting into the void, yet he moved steadily, demonstrating patience and focus. Next came the holographic enemies, Kailari warriors in simulated combat scenarios. Unlike before, these were faster, smarter, and more unpredictable. Ethan could not rely on brute strength. He had to think quickly, predict movements, and coordinate with the holographic allies. Using clever tactics, he outmaneuvered the projections, creating openings without causing harm. The final challenge awaited him at the center of the arena: a duel with the elite Kailari warrior, Shira, who had been his guide during the patrols. Shira moved like lightning, her sword slicing through the air with deadly precision. Ethan knew he could not overpower her physically. Instead, he relied on strategy, timing, and intelligence. As Shira lunged, Ethan dodged and used his environment to his advantage. He redirected her momentum, causing her to stumble slightly. Then he caught a falling panel, creating a small trap that forced her to stop. At no point did he aim to harm her. His goal was to prove ingenuity and courage under pressure. Shira paused, her eyes widening. You think like a Kailari, human," she said, astonishment in her voice. Yet your ways are different, yet clever. You fight not to destroy, but to endure and adapt. Ethan nodded, catching his breath. I fight to survive, yes, but also to protect, to learn, and to prove that humans can honor strength without destroying it. Shira studied him for a long moment, then bowed slightly. The other Kalari warriors watching the trial began to murmur among themselves, acknowledging his skill, intelligence, and courage. Ethan realized he had not only survived the trial, he had impressed the warriors in a way no human ever had. The Kalari leader stepped forward. You have endured what few beings could, she said. You have shown courage, intelligence, honor, and respect. You have acted with compassion, without fear or arrogance. You honor the Kalari in ways we did not expect from humanity. Ethan felt a surge of pride. Thank you. I have learned much from all of you. I hope to continue learning and building trust between our peoples. The leader's expression softened, a rare sight for anyone outside the Kalari warrior circle. You are not one of us, human, she said, but you have earned something far more valuable than status. You have earned respect, admiration, and the knowledge that your people can be allies, not threats. You have proven that humanity's strength lies not only in numbers or technology, but in courage, creativity, and the heart to act with honor. The other Kalari warriors nodded in agreement. They had witnessed something remarkable. A human navigating a world designed to test warriors, surviving not through physical power alone but through ingenuity, empathy, and intelligence. In doing so, Ethan had demonstrated the very qualities that made humanity worthy of recognition. Later, as he rested in the Citadel chamber, the Kalari leader returned with a small, gleaming artifact, a token of trust. Keep this, she said. It is rare for us to give these to outsiders. Let it remind you of what you have achieved and the alliance you have begun to build. The galaxy is wide, human, and there are many who underestimate your kind. Let this be proof that humans have the courage and spirit to rise to challenges beyond expectation. Ethan accepted the token with humility. I will honor it and the trust you have shown. Over the following days, the Kalari allowed him to accompany them on missions that tested not just survival, but cooperation and strategy. Together, they explored uncharted regions of the planet, secured new resources, and defended against rival factions. Ethan's actions continued to demonstrate humanity's adaptability, cleverness, and willingness to help, earning admiration and even friendship from the warrior women. One evening, as they gathered around a bioluminescent pool in the canyon, the Kalari leader spoke. You see, human, strength alone does not command respect. It is courage, honor, intelligence, and the willingness to act for others that make a being worthy of recognition. Your people possess these qualities. Today, you have shown them in full. Ethan smiled, feeling a sense of fulfillment he had never known. I've only shown a fraction of what humanity can do. There is still much to learn, and much to teach each other. The leader inclined her head. Then let this be the beginning, not the end. Humanity and Kalari may walk different paths, but those paths need not be opposed. Together, there is potential for strength, for discovery, and for peace. For the first time, Ethan felt the full weight of his accomplishment. He had entered a world where humans were outsiders, faced challenges designed to test the best of Kalari warriors, and emerged respected, admired, and trusted. Humanity had been seen as fragile, insignificant, and unpredictable, but now they had demonstrated qualities that could stand alongside the galaxy's most formidable beings. As the twin moons rose over Vera Prime, casting their pale light over the cliffs, Ethan stood with the Kalari warrior women. They trained, laughed, and shared stories, their movements graceful disciplined, and powerful. The shock that had frozen them the first time he spoke words of admiration was replaced with warmth and acknowledgement. Ethan realized something profound. Humanity's true strength was not in domination or weapons, but in courage, ingenuity, empathy, and the willingness to honor others, even those stronger than themselves. In a galaxy that often judged by appearances or power, these qualities were a force all their own. Days later, as Ethan prepared to return to the human outpost, the Kaelari leader approached him one final time. "You leave with more than survival, human," she said. "You leave with respect, trust, and the promise that your people may walk alongside ours in the future. You have proven that humans are capable of greatness, even in worlds designed to challenge the strongest of warriors." Ethan bowed, gratitude and pride in his eyes. "I will honor this trust. I will tell humanity what I have learned here, and continue to prove that we are worthy." The Kaelari leader nodded, and for a brief moment, her stoic expression softened into something almost like a smile. "Go, human. Show your people that the galaxy is wide, but courage, intelligence, and honor are universal." As Ethan departed the citadel, he looked back at the warrior women training against the glowing cliffs. Their movements were strong, precise, and elegant. They had accepted him, respected him, and in some way, inspired him. Humanity had earned its place in their eyes, not through force or intimidation, but through qualities that no weapon could replicate. Ethan knew the road ahead would be long, filled with new challenges, rival factions, and uncertainties. Yet, he felt ready. Humanity had faced fearsome adversaries, navigated unknown worlds, and proven that courage, honor, and ingenuity could overcome even the most daunting obstacles. And somewhere on the cliffs of Vera Prime, the Kaelari warrior women continued their training, remembering the human who had dared to speak a simple truth, survive impossible trials, and earn their respect. Humanity had not only survived, it had triumphed. In that moment, the galaxy seemed a little larger, a little more hopeful, and full of possibilities.